Hey everybody! Woo! Happy Wednesday. I'm excited to come to you live today and do a video that I think you will really enjoy. So I'm standing in front of my chalkboard and that means I'm doing a little bit of a tutorial. So I hope that you hop on and you'll love this. So I'm Julie Steinauer, otherwise known as Dr. Julie to my patients at Vision for Life. And I'm also known as Dr. Julie Mompreneur on my fan page. So I've got a lot of great information to tell you today. I just had an amazing hour and a half with a mastermind group of business people, entrepreneurs, and leaders in our area right here in my office. And so I'm kind of jazzed up and excited about that. Hey Jeremy, good to see you. So how do you create curiosity and get people to be interested and wondering what it is that you do? And then what the heck do you do with them once you have them interested? How do you deal with that? So I'm going to cover 3 things today. 1, I'm going to cover ways that you can create engagement. 2, I'm going to cover how you can attract people to you through curiosity. And then 3, I'm going to talk to you about how to move people that you do create that curiosity and bring in. How do you move them from your outer circle to your inner circle and what that means if you haven't heard that before. So I also have my little notes. I put them on my stand for those of you who have to stay honest with what you're doing. I have to kind of keep on track with what I'm doing. And so you'll see me look down from time to time as I'm making sure that I stay on track. So as you hop on today, make sure that you let me know where you're coming in from if I'm not aware of who you are already. Let me know some information about you and what you're interested to find out with this video today, because I might throw something in if you ask me a question. Thank you for the love, guys. Hey, Miel, good to see you. All right, so let's hop right in because number 1, we want to talk about engagement. So you want to post things that are going to get people asking questions. And one of the ways that you can do this is that I have found if you put out a little picture that you've created, you can create it with a lot of different types of programs, but one of the ones that I love is Pixlr. You can also use other avenues for this as well, but in Pixlr you can put multiple pictures. You can put like a number 1 or an A, B, C, D on it, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And you want to create engagement by asking people, what is your favorite vacation spot? Or what is your favorite fall, winter look? Okay, so those are some of the posts that I've done. They're super engaging. People want to comment on those things. They like being involved in it. And it's a lot of fun. You get to know a lot about individuals that you might just have a very basic knowledge of because of being connected on Facebook and not really having them in your inner circle to know a lot about them yet. So that's one way you can do it, is ask questions and post these little multi-picture scenarios where you say, hey, which one would you do? Hey Christine, good to see you today. So the second thing that you can do, obviously, is put fun family posts out there. So showcase you and your loved ones doing some really fun and exotic and interesting things. So you can create curiosity that way, where you can say, like, guess where we're at today? You know, we're playing hooky from whatever, and we're here today. And so that's a really great way that you can get people interested in your life, and it creates a lot of conversation, right? You want to do things that are going to create conversation so that you can bring people from outer circle into your inner circle, which we're going to go over. Okay, so another thing that you can do is you can mix things up in your videos. So if you're posting live videos on a regular basis, which we now know you should be doing that anywhere from 3 to 5 times per week if you really want to increase your engagement the best. And if you do it too little, you're not getting enough exposure. If you do it too much, you may expose yourself so much that what happens is that Facebook kind of buries you down in the bottom. So if you're enjoying some of this information so far, drop me some comments down below, and definitely let me know you know, if this is the first time that you've heard of something in particular, like, oh wow, I never heard of that one before. Drop me a comment about that. Okay, so the other thing is in mixing up videos, let's talk about this one a little bit more. So I talked about how often you want to do it throughout the week, but to mix it up a little bit, and we discussed this in our mastermind group today, you don't necessarily always want to be doing the exact same thing. I even had a girlfriend comment, hey, you've been getting a lot more businessy lately. And I thought, really? I talk about all kinds of stuff in my videos, but it brought to mind that you do want to kind of mix things up. Hey Sharita, good to see you on here today. You do want to mix things up. So there are days that you might be a little bit more serious and you might be seated at a desk. You might have different areas. You know, I do mine in my car sometimes. You might do it in your house in different locations. You might do it in front of a chalkboard where you're going to provide some value and teach and train on something. There's a lot of different ways in which you can mix things up. You might also do something that's super engaging and silly, like wear a boa or a hat or have on some fun glasses. Hey Danielle, nice to see you. And this is a great way to create engagement too. See, the thing is that if people are scrolling through and they're looking and they see the same theme all the time and it looks the same, eventually they get bored of even looking at it. So you have to do something that's going to jazz people up to say like, oh, well, that's kind of different. What is she doing today? She's next to a pool. Okay, so create some curiosity and some engagement that way by mixing things up. We also talked about in our mastermind group how it's important to have different hats that you wear. Now, not physical hats that you wear, but maybe personalities that you bring out in your video. And so you can be tutorial, you know, you can be like the teacher. You can also do things that are just like the raw, like I'm giving out my emotion and I'm talking to you about what's going on today type of videos. And you can mix that up. You know, some days you might be silly, some days you might be serious, some days you might be very straight-laced and business-like. But people like to see all facets of us. They like to see the human side of us, and they don't want to see the same thing every single day. Eventually they scroll right past you if it's the same stuff all the time. Okay, so the last one that I'm going to talk about when we're talking about creating engagement, which is I think super fun, but tell a pictorial type of story. And obviously with emojis that's become super easy to do these days. But some of my most engaging posts, hey Gerhard, good to see you. Some of my most engaging posts have been the ones in which I've actually told a picture and people have responded to me literally by giving me messages saying, hey, that was a great post. I literally could feel like I could see your story because of how you put it, you know, put all of those little entries of emojis into the story. So lots of faces, lots of interactive things that break up just the words, because not only does it cause people as they're scrolling to look by and go, oh my gosh, that's interesting, I would look at it, but number two is that it sucks them into a storyline even better. So if they can, again, just thinking about like a visual thing, I kind of teach people here at Vision for Life how to visualize better, and certainly we know that people learn a lot through multi-sensory approaches. And so putting something that's a visual thing that could trigger a sense response, maybe an experience, maybe an emotion that they're going through and reading your story is going to create a lot better engagement than if you just have a big long diatribe of a bunch of paragraphs with a lot of words. Because see, for someone who maybe struggles with reading, which by the way, I might be able to help out with that at my vision clinic. I'm just saying, go to visionforlifeworks.com. Okay, so one of the things that you know is we know about people who have struggles with vision is that they have a lot of difficulty with reading a ton of printed text. And so if they see something that's like a big long thing, they're gonna look at that and go, I'm not gonna read that, flip. But if you break it up with pictures, just like the person struggling with reading who would rather read a picture book, okay, as opposed to just a whole big 400-page book, it's the same way with these little spotlights that you put on your news feed. So put stuff in there that when they're scrolling through, they're gonna look at that and go, oh, wow, that's kind of interesting. Let me stop and look at that one. Okay, so that's engagement. So now the second thing that I want to cover, if you found value, by the way, in some of my ideas on engagement, let me know. And obviously, I would love for you to pass this along. So if you find it valuable enough to say, pass on to your buddies with that little button at the bottom, then please do that. Okay, so number two would be some more, that's kind of like creating engagement. And now we're going to talk more specific about the curiosity. So I have 3 examples that I think are really great ideas that we can, if we think about it really hard, we can come up with a way to make that into something that we can post on a regular basis. Okay, now how regular? Maybe 1 or 2 a week. But when we think about people who put stuff on Facebook and you're like, oh, that made me curious. I wonder what's going on there. Okay, one of the best ones that I see is how people reveal something like getting married or they're going to have a baby. And if they're going to have a baby, it's like something's coming, you know, or they might have this really cute pose picture with all kinds of things around. Some friends of mine, Jeremy and Jayla, actually did an awesome job of this, announcing their baby here recently. And that was so fun, right? And everyone was commenting on that. That was a definite attention getter. But one of the other things that happens in these types of posts is that, you know, you can be dragging it out for a little while, like, what is it going to be? Is it going to be a boy? Is it going to be a girl? Are we going to have, are we going to have pink, or are we going to have blue? All right, and people have these amazing kind of coming out parties with their baby, and all these very unique ways, things, spitting up pink sparklers or something like that, or pink confetti, right? And so these are really fun ways that you are creating curiosity and getting people involved and wondering, what the heck are you doing? So if we can mirror what people do when they're announcing babies, that would be a great thing. So another one that's kind of a real life situation is, it's always exciting whenever a new relationship starts, whether that's a friendship, a love interest, thinking back to dating, right? Whenever it's going on, it's like the thrill of the chase, the thrill of the fun of getting to know someone new for the very first time. Hey, Jen, good to see you. All right, so there's some excitement in getting to know that person because you don't know a lot about that individual. And so it's exciting then getting to know all kinds of information about that person. So if you can create that type of excitement of people getting to know you, because they're getting to know you online, and so you want to be able to give them tidbits of stuff like, this is a little bit about Julie you never knew before. So how can you do stuff that are making people curious about, who the heck is this girl anyway? Like, what kind of businesses does she run? All right, and then that gets people contacting you and saying, I'm kind of just wondering, you put out a lot of information that's really a variety of stuff. What do you do? And that's what you want. You want to get people engaged in you. And the third way that I think we can bring a real life situation into this and think about how it creates curiosity is when someone just says, hey, I need prayers for today. This is an unspoken request. I'm not telling you what it is. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to say, raise your hand if you're like, okay, I'm going to pray, obviously, but I hope everything's okay. I wonder what it is. Right? So we could kind of bring in a negative thing about like gossiping and talking about people and like, did you hear this? Did you hear that? But I'm keeping this positive and keeping it real. So there are lots of ways that you can create curiosity, right? People are wondering like, how the heck did she manage to get that car? Okay. So there's all kinds of things that you can put out there that people are going to find interesting. Tracy, good to see you on here. So that's how you can create curiosity. You have to think about, these things like it's a big reveal, right? I'm going to reveal something exciting about myself. And people are interested in that because they want to know you on a different level. And it's kind of like being able to share secrets, like, shh, we're sharing a secret. Like, don't tell, but I used to do this. All right, and those are really fun things. People love guessing on that stuff. They love being involved with it. And it's another way that they get to see your fun, cool side and realize, what an awesome person you are. All right, so let me make sure I've gone through a lot of things here. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the last part of this today. And if you got value on the items that I talked about, which were real live posts of curiosity that people do super duper well, then what I want you to do is drop me a comment down below, like tell me that you liked that section, okay? But the third one, I'm gonna use this and then I'm gonna start drawing on the board. Okay, you have to be thinking about yourself like you're drawing people to you like a magnet. All right, whoop. Eventually the attraction is so strong that people don't have, it's like they can't help themselves. They're drawn to you because they see that you're an amazing person, an amazing individual, and that you provide value and information on a regular basis. And so that's what you want to think about, like, how am I going to be like a magnet? So moving into this third section about creating people, taking them kind of like from your outer circle to your inner circle, I'm going to do a little drawing on the board here. And probably a lot of you have seen this before, but maybe some of you haven't. So all of this today is really saying, like, how can we get people into our circle zones? Okay, so, whoop, funkiness on my chalkboard here is making me draw not so great circles. Let's try that again. All right, so you've got all of these ways, Facebook Live, you've got some of these things that I talked about today, like emoji posts, you've got all of these ways, curiosity things, all of these things that people are looking at. And here's you. Here I am, right in the middle. I'm in the middle, okay? But how do I get people to go, I see your stuff. First of all, you have to be so significant enough that they actually see it and they're like, wow, that's a cool post. Who the heck is this girl? Okay, so then your outer really, they're almost like strangers. So let's just say strangers. Okay, so your outer circle are strangers, somebody that you just happen to friend up on Facebook. You don't know them from Adam, but they were a friend of a friend that someone suggested to you or whatever. All right, so those are strangers. So on the inner circle are people that you know, but this is kind of like loosely know them. So this could be someone like your doctor, it's not your best friend. It could be like your accountant, someone who changes the tires on your car, like you know who they are, you maybe interact with them with some regularity, even like a hairstylist or someone who does your nails, okay? So you've got strangers, total strangers, like I just friended a couple people on Facebook and they don't know me from anybody. And then now they kind of know me because we've been chit-chatting back and forth, and gee, we actually live kind of close to one another. Okay, but then here's you on the inside, like the real you, the you that not everybody totally gets to see. And how are you gonna bring strangers on into that inner circle? Well, again, you have to create some engagement first to be able to get them interested. Hey, Erica, good to see you. And then the second thing that you're going to do is you've got to bring them from stranger zone into they know you a little bit zone. Okay, as they get to know you a little bit, then you have something to talk about, you have something to chat about, and you have value that maybe you can provide back and forth, and you're just getting to know each other. So you're thinking about this like a relationship, right? How do you bring them from that into the knowing the real you and become a friend? So this inner circle here is your friend zone. All right, your friends, they know the down low about you, right? They know the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And so you're not going to give all of that information to strangers probably, right? Probably not. They're not going to know, you know, if you're having some sort of a financial crisis or friendship crisis or relationship crisis or child crisis or whatever. But the people who are down in here closest to you, because you're going to be talking to them a little bit more, probably will know some of those things. And so how do you bring them from this section down in here? Well, once you've gotten attention, you're getting to know them, you know, you've brought the stranger in from attention, and then you can chit chat and take it, you know, kind of off Facebook but into Messenger, or take it into texting, but I like Messenger. Take it into Messenger and you get to know the individual. And as you get to know the individual, you know, eventually if you work with them long enough and you get to know each other well enough, maybe you get to move them into that friend zone where they can like, know, and trust you better. So again, you have to think about the situation of, you know, if you're wanting to engage people to get them attracted to you online for whatever businesses that you have, Craig, good to see you, then what you want to do is you want to think about yourself like a magnet. How are you going to create that situation where people are just drawn to you like a magnet because of the value that you're giving them, because of the interesting things that you put out there, because you're sharing little tidbits and pieces of cool stuff with your life? So I hope that you guys found this, I don't know, engaging. I hope that you found this as a great video today. I hope that it piqued your curiosity on how you could do some things a little bit better. I would love it if you comment and spread some information. Obviously, you know, some love down below. Hey Lisa, good to see you. Pass, you know, hit that little pass along button so that other people can see this as well. And if you have comments that you would like to take offline, certainly send me a message in Messenger. With that, I'm going to say I hope this was a great video. I hope it was informative. I hope you learned something. Pass it on. Be awesome. And happy Wednesday. All right, be awesome. See ya.